nor would I propose that we leave Main Street designation or try to move it, because I believe all the merchants receive a lot of benefits out being Main Street designated and stuff like that. So, you had your hand up back there though, so, for a while.
Terry Sod, 2530 Sutter. I just have a question. Do you not get points or anything for location as far as hospitals and schools and Walmart and things like that kind of thing?
That's under criteria too, and we scored them all, and particularly because you're a smaller community, all of the sites are going to score maximum on that because you're within proximity.
Well, I had one more part to this question. If the designated Main Street area was not here, how many points do you lose?
You would lose 3 points for that.
That's
Three.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 for any one of those 3. You could get 9 if you're in all 3, if you had a qualified census tract.
But if we did not have a designated Main Street area, what would that do to this?
It would lower the one, only number 7 got any points at all for that, and it was 3 points. So it would lower that score by 3. So it would be 150.
Thank you.
So let me just add, it doesn't have to be in the Main Street area. It could be within half a mile of the Main Street.
Yeah, but the Main Street area wasn't there at all.
Well, if it wasn't there, then we would not get points at all.
I have a question on that. My name is Eric Vaughn, 2339 Sutter. What is that stipulation? Where does that accredited Main Street certification come from?
New Mexico Main Street.
New Mexico Main Street? Okay. I have a few questions. Could a bond be issued to where a parcel of land could be purchased? And maybe where some cash could be contributed into a parcel of land? Is that acceptable?
Yeah, the issue from the developer who's applying, the amount of that 1.4 million, that 10%, to get the maximum number of that, it is that can come from a private entity, that can come from the municipality, that can come from. It used to be local contribution. It used to be just the locality had to provide that, but they've changed that now to where it can be land or capital from any contribution up to 10%, and that to get the maximum points.
Grants included?
Grants.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Well, hold on, what'd you say, Eric? I'm sorry.
What if we had grant, some sort of grant that we could use to purchase property or something like
That'd
that?
probably go in private donation, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can't put in, like you're applying for a grant, you have to have.
You have to have it, okay.
You have to have the commitment
That
of
makes
that.
sense.
Tim?
Mr. Chairman, Eric, there's different types of bonds. And if you're talking about a revenue bond from the project, I don't think you can build that into the cash flow of the project. Then if you push the rental properties up above the income guidelines or the guidelines of what's affordable. So you would have to be either like some other sort of bond that the village would have to have authority to issue.
So with that being asked, if this committee wanted to recommend that, looking at the different options here, that we thought we should put a question out there to authorize village court bond, what's your time frame for that?
To do a bond, Mr. Chairman, you could call for, you could call for a special election. And it's about 90 days to conduct a special election. You would have to present a resolution to the council to approve a election on a certain date, and then there's an election schedule. I believe that all special elections, based on the new law, have to be mail-in ballots. Ms. Devine can speak to elections.
Would it be a property bond or?
It would probably have to be a capital, either a GO bond. I don't know that it would qualify as a capital outlay.
Unless you pass
You could, Ms. Mayor, you could pass the local economic development tax, and that would generate the revenue. And I know been discussed before. And that would definitely, that could be used to leverage debt service on a debt.
That calls for referendum.
Do you want Irma to describe the election process?
Well, yeah, just one second, you mentioned one other thing. If, now of course, this kind of messes up, I think, with our calendar and stuff like that. And I don't know what the village is already, I'm sure you guys are already thinking about this. What about the capital outlay project process for the state? If we wanted to propose that the legislature could use their capital outlay dollars to fund this, could we do that?
So the capital outlay process, we just had a workshop yesterday, and the applications are submitted to the Council of Governments usually in November, and then they submit them to the legislators themselves in our area, and then of course the session starts in January. I've personally never seen a request to purchase land, but doesn't mean you couldn't. Did you hear any?
No, I know that, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, water rights and there's other items like that qualify for capital outlay funds. But just to purchase a piece of property, you have to identify and have already some sort of commitment from whoever is selling the property in order to have with that capital outlay request. It's just not saying we want to buy a piece of property. You have to show that you are able to move forward with that and have some sort of documentation.
And on the schedule on capital outlay, we're probably not looking into, this is a 90-day session, right, that we're going into?
That's correct.
So we're probably not looking until March, because they usually wait till the end of the session.
Unless you have your, if it's a severance tax bond, the severance, they sell the bonds twice a year in June and in December, so if they sell in the June bond sale, then you see the grant agreements August, September timeframe at the earliest, if we do get the grant agreements, so.
Did you want to?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Ms. Lee has stated, yes, under the new election process, a special election would be mail ballot only. And of course, that's something, obviously the village of Ruidoso has not, it would be a new venue and a new avenue that we would need to take with that.
We are outside the time frame to get on November ballot.
Well, this would be a municipal election.
And the village can't be on the.
It would be a separate standalone special election that would go before the voters. The people that would vote on that would have to be qualified as, obviously being registered voter and reside within those units and whatever other criteria is, needs to be met according to the type of bond election that would be pursued.
Manager Lee, you referenced an economic development tax. That is also imposed by an election where? So all of the county concerns that we were talking about here would apply equally to that process.
Mr. Chairman, our deadline for application, awards for 2019, that is November, is that, when is the cutoff?
July is.
Oh, it's July, okay. I'm sorry.
Isn't that correct, Chris?
Since we're looking at 2020, basically, yeah, we would want sometime next summer, we would want to make sure that development agreements are underway, unless you developer, because there's some background work that has to be set up prior to the application, so.
I think we worked under the idea that, we said we would have something by January, but I think the intent is we need to have something so that, because in the end, we're just making a recommendation. In the end, it's the village council that will affirm this, so we have to have something in time for them to do their due diligence and then present that to the housing authority to make a decision on that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just getting to that point, Debbie, if we're to propose to put in place the economic development grant, propose that, would we have to go through an election to oppose it and then the process of bonding thereafter?
Yes.
So that's actually a longer road to.
It's 2 elections.
Yeah.
Now, that's correct. So So, Mr. Chairman, in other words, if you want to use the LEDA tax, you would have to have an election to impose that. And anytime you impose a tax, you can only do that in July and January. And New Mexico Tax and Rev requires 90 days out. So you would have to, by ordinance, after the election affirmatively passed, submit an ordinance to Tax and Rev 90 days before January or July. And then once the tax is in place, the ordinance has been passed, Tax and Rev is approved, then you would have to have another election if you wanted to use that tax to service a debt. You would have to then have it. We can ask if you can combine them. I don't know if you can combine them or.
You have to establish the authority first.
First, and then, yeah, so you couldn't, because if you voted for one and not the other, I'm almost certain you have to have two.
Anything else from?
But we would certainly have, some type of financial consultant lay it out in the whole process.
I have one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Does the housing authority set stipulations on what is allowed to be considered as forms of income, such as like unemployment?
Those would not be that would be the IRS, because the tax credit program that this program operates within is an IRS program, and they set eligibility based on that.
Well, at one of the last meetings I came to, it was a piece of paper that was handed out by you, I believe, Caesar, and it said on there certain things of what was considered as verifiable sources of income, such as, unemployment. That was just.
And on a separate page, excuse me, it said you had to work to qualify for the housing, so it was contradictory, I think. That's what a lot of us were wondering. You had to work to qualify, but unemployment counts, right? So it's confusing.
So, that's not my specialty, kind of resale and that type of stuff, but I don't know that unemployment will qualify you because it's temporary, right? And so, they're looking at permanent sources, right?
That's what I thought, but then I saw that on
But
there.
I
That's
can
why
check,
I
I
asked.
don't know, I can check.
We'll get an answer on that, so it's a good question.
What's
We'll
that?
get an answer on that for you, because that's a good question. So.
Okay.
It is permanent employment, or it is permanent forms, like a pension, Social Security. Permanent forms are made for your eligibility. But on all federal programs, if you have to go through a recertification, if you add household members or something like that, they're going to consider monies incomes as a part of that, which may include unemployment or some temporary form of work or something like that. So, but it has to be a permanent source of income.
Okay, well, it just, on that, one of those forms you handed out, it had sources of income such as like dividends, alimony, all these different things, unemployment, which kind of was funny, so that's why I just wanted some clarification.
That's a good question.
I had another question about the size of the land. When I read over the minutes, more than once it stated that ideally it was 1 acre per 10 units. And that, I think, sir, is something that you have said. And ideally, for it to be economically feasible, you need between 60 and 70 units.
Yeah.
Is what we've been told.
More.
So on land that is 3.5, I realize you can go up, but you still have to park. You still have to have your clubhouse, your green space, your playground. How do you manage to make something that really needs 6 to 7 acres fit on something that's 3.5 acres?
Ma'am, we would get the architect involved and we give them the program, how many units, what the size of the units are, if you want a clubhouse, square footages, and then they would, based on the code, local
If
code.
you want a clubhouse, I thought it was required that you all have a clubhouse.
Yes, we need to have that amenity. So based on the tax credit program's requirements, and local code, an architect would put it all together and see if it fit.
Has that been done? Has anybody asked to see if that could, if this, that gets the highest points, really is a viable piece of land size-wise?
Our partner, Chelsea, has taken a kind of preliminary look at that, and they think they could fit the 60 units there.
How big is the piece of property that those homes on? Do you remember? I think it's 5 acres.
I think it's 3 or 4 acres.
Makes a difference.
Well, ma'am, it all depends on the code and the requirements, and to try to put, something that would work on that site. I mean, I could tell you in Los Angeles, fitting 60 units on less than an acre happens all the time, but that's not gonna happen here, right? So it would be a matter of just kind of trying to see how we could fit things, how it would, does it work, doesn't it work? Chelsea, our partner, they have their architects that kind of put that together and think they can make it work. And we would have come back to you already and said, no, it's just not gonna work already.
In a way,
Yes, it is more dense. Yes, it is more dense.
In a way, it almost seems like that's what you told us with the numbers, that the best property we've got is a 153. That it's probably